Thursday Night Football, Week 8, Tampa Bay at Buffalo. The Bills 8.5-point favorites, a total 42.5. So not expected too many points from Tampa Bay here. Who do you like in the captain spot?
I got to go with our boy Gabe Davis here. I think this is a good time to buy low on Gabe. I mean, he had that really good stretch weeks 2 through 5 where he scored a touchdown in 4 straight games, cleared 90 yards in 2 of them. And then he just came crashing down to earth with back-to-back duds. But that's unfortunately the Gabe Davis experience. Whenever you have a player that has an ADOT of 15.5 yards downfield, they're just going to be very volatile. So could bounce back with a big game here. If you are going to play Gabe Davis, you have to consider him in the captain slot because, like I said, he's very volatile. So if he does have a good game, it's usually a captain-worthy game. Also, Stephon Diggs is an excellent play in the captain slot. When you play Gabe Davis, he is, leverage against Diggs in a sense. So I like going with Gabe Davis here in the captain slot.
Yeah, I'm going with Diggs, but like always loved Gabe week in, week out. Unfortunately, I don't think he came through for convince me for Simon, right?
Oh yeah,
he had his over. Yeah, tough week. But I like Diggs in this spot. He's been amazing. Found a way to score against the Patriots, which always tough because they really put a bullseye on number one wide receivers, but still had 5 100-yard games, out of his 7 this year. He has scored in one of the 2. He didn't have a 100-yard game, which was last week. So every week, 6+ catches for Diggs. Can't really fade him in this spot. Like the matchup because Tampa Bay generally known as a team that you want to throw on more than run on now. They've been a little up and down in terms of their run defense, so that kind of remains to be seen. But overall, Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs has been money all year, so like Diggs in the captain spot. All right, who do you like for value?
I actually like Trey Palmer here. He's 4,200. I bet he's going to be fairly overlooked, but he's been the clear number 3 wide receiver for the Buccaneers. A role that opened up once Russell Gage, suffered his season-ending injury. And Palmer's had a slow start. I mean, but he is a rookie. He does have some upside. He's pretty fast. So, he could have a mini breakout any given week. And it looks like Chris Godwin's opening up the week with, like a neck injury where even if he plays, there's a chance he could be limited. So, Palmer might have to step up a bit here. And, he is more of a downfield threat. He's only averaging 10.5 yards a catch this year, but he does have an ADOT of 15. So he's one of those players where just 1 or 2 catches, he could absolutely, break the slate, and you will need him to take down GPPs. So he just hasn't caught his deep targets yet, but that could change any given week. So he's a great play for like a single game slate. So I'm going to go with Palmer here.
Yeah, absolutely. Outside chance he's the number 2 if Godwin
indeed
misses. For me, I like Dalton Kincaid, just 5K, and that's a steal considering he caught 8 balls on 8 targets for 75 yards last week. Dawson Knox going to miss this game with an injury. So Kincaid should be on the field almost every single snap now. He should get a few more looks in the red zone as well. And just a good spot to continue the breakout that started last week for Kincaid. And 5K, again, way too cheap, I think, for him. I think these prices may have come out before Knox was officially ruled out.
Yeah, and admittedly, I didn't even know Knox is out until you told me 20 minutes ago. So Kincaid he's gone up from tight end 17 to tight end 8 in my rankings. So thanks for the info there.
No doubt. He's tight end 9 for me as well. So top 10 guy this week. Nice price. Who do you like for dart throws?
Well, I wasn't sure if like Trey Palmer or Cade Otton would be the dart throw. So I'm going with Cade Otton as my dart throw because he's cheaper. He's only 3K. He is coming off a season high, 43 yards on 5 catches last week. I mean, his underlying usage has always been there, at least in terms of playing time. He's typically running around over 80% of Baker Mayfield's dropbacks. He just really hasn't commanded many targets this year, which is understandable when you're playing alongside, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. But like I said, with Chris Godwin dealing with the neck injury, if he's limited in any way, it could lead to a couple more targets for Otton. And the Bills are usually a tough matchup for tight ends, but they lost Tremaine Edmonds to the Bears in free agency over the offseason, and now they're without Matt Milano, who's on IR. So, the two tight ends who are responsible for their shutdown defense against tight ends last year aren't there right now. So it could be, more of an average spot for Otton. So I like getting him, on the single game slate at, a pretty cheap price of $3K. Definitely think he's going to be overlooked here as well.
Yeah, he's definitely been running a lot of routes, so that's something you always look for out of the tight end.
Yeah, that's a good starting point for a tight end at least.
I gotta go with Devin Tompkins here. He is pretty cheap on DK's 1,600, and they're not just with the uncertainty of Godwin, but Tompkins has caught multiple passes in 5 of his 6 games, and he has at least 3 targets in 5 of his 6 games. So not necessarily always a downfield guy. Has a couple of those targets, but most of the stuff is going to be underneath. His ADOT, his average at the target is 6.4 on the year. But again, he's catching multiple balls, getting 3 or more targets almost every week. So on a slate like this, especially with Godwin, iffy, and Mike Evans has been kind of in and out of games too. Doesn't really play 100% of the snaps these days either. So both of those guys kind of checking in and out. Godwin questionable, like Tompkins here, the number 4 wide receiver to potentially put up enough to have to get him into your lineup.
Yep. He's definitely a good cheap option. And one other guy I like to just throw out there, like a true dart throw, is Chase Edmonds, who's potentially returning from the IR. And it seems like the Bucs are desperately looking for somebody to push Rachaad White on early downs. And Edmonds, it's a limited sample size, 4 carries for 20 yards, but he has been the more productive, like, backup running back. I guess you could say any of the backs. So there's a chance, he gets a handful of touches in this game, and I doubt his rostership will be over like 2%. So someone to monitor if he is active, like Chase Edmonds, might be worth the dart throw as well.
Yep, initially I was going to go with Keyshawn Vaughn, but then I saw Edmonds was activated. So, whichever one of those guys, if Edmonds doesn't come off the injured list, then Keyshawn Vaughn is 600. He's been getting about a third of the snaps or so in the backfield. So he's a pretty good dart throw. But if Edmonds comes in, all bets are off. I'd probably roll with Edmonds, like you said, because they're just kind of looking for something with this run game. They've really got nothing on the ground this season from their run game. Just kind of like last season, but they are pass blocking a lot better. So